another episode of Money Honeys with Freddie,
Chantel,
and Devin.
Also known as the Cream Podcast.
Cream?
No, not that kind. Cash rules everything around us.
Another episode of Money Honeys on unpacking, understanding, and figuring out how to get the dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Hey. Love it. Love it.
Love
Need it.
All right, so ladies, besides making it out of tax season semi-alive, how are we feeling this week?
Well, I had to file an extension, so I'm not out of it.
Oh. Okay.
In fact, because I'm an S Corp, I'm 2 days late.
Still?
Yeah, I haven't. My appointment's April 12th for everyone. Put that on your calendar and remind me.
This one isn't coming out on the
It'll come out
15th,
after.
though. This will come out like a couple weeks after that.
That's okay. That's okay. April 12th.
Just one.
But I'm late.
You know what I mean?
But either way, you
yeah.
still had to file an
It's an
extension.
extension.
I had to
Yeah.
file an extension. Because if you guys don't know, now you know for next year, if you're an S Corp or an LLC, you have to file a month earlier. Because I don't know why.
You would think that if you have like an additional like set of taxes for a business in addition to your personal ones, that they would give you more time, not less.
I think it's based on quarters. So it's like end of Q1.
End of Q1.
Okay. I don't write the tax code, Fred. What a bitch.
Welcome to Money Honeys, where we take money very seriously.
And we hate each other for it.
The tax code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chantel, how are you doing?
You know, I'm okay. I'm here. I filed my taxes, got a little bit of money back, wanted more, didn't owe money on my business, which was good.
Amazing.
And I feel like anytime doing business taxes, you're just sitting there crossing your fingers being like, I hope that I don't owe money.
Yeah.
And then when you don't, you're like, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's frustrating because the IRS knows how much you owe. They could
do?
just send you a number and you can pay it. But they don't. Like, there's countries that do that.
Are they trying to just get you caught up?
I think
Like,
so.
is that the? It's
They
like,
want the
let's see if like what she doesn't claim, because we know that she made this amount. And then she
No,
doesn't-
I think it's because they want to keep H&R Block in business. Lobbyists for like those companies. They're like, what if you don't tell them the number and then you make them do math with the little, statistics and calculus that they know. And then there will be all these fees on top of the money that they pay us because they'll get it wrong.
Yeah.
I hate them.
And it's so rude. Like, I actually.
So rude. Uncle Sam is a scam. He's a scammer. One of the biggest scammers.
Uncle Scammer.
Uncle Scam.
Uncle Scam.
There it
That
is.
is how he shall be talked about moving forward.
Yep.
Yes, tax season has come to a close. It's actually gone a bit smoother than it did last year.
Great.
Last year, my tax situation was such a shit show. And I don't even really, I think it was like partly because, they moved the tax date during the pandemic to like May 15th instead of April 15th. And then I guess at that point I was just like, it'll get done, because it felt like I had so much time. And then time got away from me. And I ended up having to owe thousands of dollars in late fees. And it wasn't even that late. It was like, it was June. So that's late.
But it's like a
not
month late. I
Yeah.
wouldn't equate that to thousands of dollars in
Thousands?
late fees.
Yeah, it was crazy. And also, too, when they... So annoying. So basically, they ended up taking... Usually it takes about like a week, like a full week, when I send my check off to the IRS for them to take the money out of my account.
Okay.
And they just so happened to take it out early, and I hadn't transferred the money out. So it was not only already late, but then they had like gotten it in like 2 days somehow and like transferred the money, or it like took the money out, but then the money wasn't there. And so then they like refunded me, but then I had to do the whole process again.
No.
Which made me more late, which made me owe more fees.
It makes me worried that they needed the money so bad. What do they need the money so bad for?
Tell us, Uncle Scam.
Yeah.
Uncle Scam.
What is it?
What's
What
going
do
on
you
with
know
you?
that we
Fess
don't?
up.
Right.
Fess up.
You didn't give me that week.
Exactly.
I thought I was getting that week.
Yeah.
Apparently you really, really are thirsty for my cash.
I need my 5 business days.
Literally.
Thank you.
Because when it comes to getting a refund, they take their sweet little time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Months. They take months.
Wait, do they take months for you?
Yes. Months for my refund.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I haven't gotten a refund in a while, but it would take a while.
I get my refund within like 2 weeks of filing my taxes.
Well, you always do it early. I feel like you file your taxes early.
Yeah. Do you do it like right away? Like as soon as you...
January?
Yeah.
You're a January bitch, aren't you?
I'm a February bitch.
Well, no. Ruff, like...
Yeah.
Is scouring for his like paperwork, and he's ready to do his taxes ASAP. I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, I already did mine. I'm like, wait, they didn't even... It's New Year's.
It's not even 2022 yet.
Yeah, I balance my little books. I print out my little P&L. I'm like, here's my balance sheet.
P&L too?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And then I like give it to him and he just inputs the little numbies.
I'm so embarrassed for myself. I'm the oldest one here
I'm
too.
extra. Like I'm definitely like I do a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he fully needed, like, all my little, like, printouts and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know.
I just love how thorough you are.
Yeah, it's good.
It means a lot
I
to
just
me.
like to know where my money is. I like to know where it went, where it's going, why I don't have it anymore.
Yes.
Like, why is it not in my account anymore?
No, I will say, like, also over the past few weeks, I've, like, gone into, like, an internet hole of, like, reading all these articles about, like, the youths making so much money off NFTs. And by youths, I mean like from as young as 12 years old to like 21, 22, 24 years old, making like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, selling like 1 or 2 NFTs. It's crazy. And like how, like, what is this world that the kids have access to that, like, I just wish that we would have been afforded the same opportunities. But also it's like, I think when it comes to like internet and social media, there are like toxic parts of it that I feel like the kids have grown up with and have had to deal with, like all of that, you know, comparing and honestly just like a lot of overwhelming information when it comes to like news and all those things. So I'm like, wow, it would have been cool to have these opportunities to make a ton of money at a young age, but also I'm kind of grateful that we didn't have social media growing up. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it intrigues me, especially the fact that Gen Z is making just like a lot of money so much younger. Even like the YouTubers, when you think about it, you know?
The streamers.
Yeah.
The TikTokers.
Right. And it's like they're building businesses younger and younger, which is really cool. But I'm like, is this something that Gen Z like really values and everyone's trying to aim for? Or are these like isolated instances and just like really specific individuals? Like, does Gen Z care about money as much as we do? You know?
Yeah.
It's a really good question.
It is.
It's a really good question. I, for one, would like to know the answer to that question. And we will after the break.
We are back from our lovely break. Thank you guys for sticking around. So we were talking about Gen Z and how impressed and also intrigued I am just by the whole generation at large. They're just like so much more ahead of our time. Like they're so much more ahead of their time than we were at that age.
Oh, yeah.
Like, would y'all agree?
I was really into the Disney Channel at their age. Just super in on the famous Jet Jackson, Even Stevens.
Yeah.
That took up all my time. I wouldn't have time to start a business.
I
like,
know.
what?
No, 12 years old, I literally had a lemonade stand at 12 years old in the summer.
Oh my God, I could just see you on your little block.
I did, you know, but it's like NFT, it's like when you're 12 years old, you're still a baby.
Truly.
So it's like, is it even good to be having like a full-blown business? Like, this tax shit is hard enough.
Right.
Right?
Like, I don't even
Be a
understand.
child.
Yeah.
Be a baby. Be a 12-year-old baby. You're a baby until you're like 16, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, pretty much.
And
if
they
you're
let
a-
babies drive.
If you're a white man, you're a baby till you're like 35. It just keeps it's extensions.
Yes.
They keep filing those
extensions.
Wow. Wow, I'm jealous.
I know, right?
But before we jump into the ins and outs of Gen Z, I kind of want to give our audience a little bit of background on just like how we grew up in our relationship with money and just like what we were told we should be doing as adults with money, you know? We're going to play a little game of true or false.
Okay.
I'm going to make a statement and then we'll all just say whether that statement is true for us.
Great.
Okay. Are we saying it like all at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like pretending there's a buzzer for me to.
Okay. First statement.
Yeah.
I was taught that being an adult meant going to college and having a reliable career.
True.
True. Same for me. I was taught that being an adult meant getting married and having children.
True.
Mainly true.
I would say half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of we can go into the reasoning later.
I feel like Terry's very adventurous.
Terry's very non-traditional and very adventurous, and like a lot of the women in my life who are like my mom's close friends, who are like pretty much like my godmoms, a lot of them are single and the breadwinners, like make bank on their own. And that's just like what I grew up seeing, but I still, you know, it was still ingrained, I think, society, like based on society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it feels like it was an implied thing versus like either one of my parents saying like, when you get older, you get married and you have kids.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. I got my first credit card in college.
True.
I think I got my first credit card senior year of college, but I got my first like bank account freshman year.
Yeah, I got my first bank account freshman year. I think I got my first credit card when I moved to Los Angeles, like right after graduation. Yeah.
I got my first credit card in freshman year with my little $300 limit.
Oh my God, I love
$300.
So cute.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, how responsible.
Whole dollars.
I know.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, it's time to start building your credit.
It's so good. Okay, so it's
then
true
I,
for you.
applied. Yeah, true
I
for
feel
me.
like my parents opened a credit card for me in college, but then did not let me hold it or have it.
They were
I
like,
know about it.
we're going to give you this great situation to start building credit, but like, we'll manage it.
I feel like they probably got the card in the mail and they were like, I'm not going to see the trash.
Not for you.
Yep.
I was taught to follow my passion, regardless of what it is.
True.
True in regards to the statement, less true in regards to the action of actually doing it.
Wow.
Because I would say like one of my parents was a lot more hesitant with me like taking risks or like being like, okay, I'm going to turn down that full-time job for an internship at this place because I know this internship is going to like, if I get it, it'll really do it for me. Or like, I'm going to leave because this, you know, like, so one of my parents was like, all right, but I don't know. I don't think so, you know, and the other one was like, go for it.
Well, that's a good balance.
Yeah.
I'd rather be that way than both of them saying absolutely not. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
What about you, Deb?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True. Both my parents are Pisces. So they're like...
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, I know. It explains a lot. But
Explain to me because I don't know.
they're just like romantic
Aw.
and you know, very into like the narrative of it all. And it's weird because and also because I was a performer, they were like, you're so good. Like, we love to see you on stage. It makes us feel good, which made, you know, so they pushed me into acting.
That's great.
You're a great actor.
And singing and dancing. Thank you so much. But they didn't do the same for my brother, which is the weirdest thing. My brother was like, my mom was like, you're going into business. And my brother was like, no. So now he's an HR manager.
Do you think it's because you were youngest?
I think it was probably mostly because I had a clear passion,
Okay.
you know, whereas my brother kind of vacillated like kids do, and they're
Yeah.
allowed to. Yeah, but I think that's probably why. But how about you?
Yeah, I think so. It's true for me. I don't necessarily know about like. I actually don't really know about how my parents felt about like career-wise me going into like producing media in that way. Like I think they were excited and like stoked, but I also kind of feel like they just didn't quite know what to expect. So they were like, okay, we're trusting you. Like, this should work. You went to school for it. Like, why not? You know, but it was still very much like, put in the work, make sure you're, you know, not fucking it up, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents were always very supportive throughout all like my schooling and stuff like that. And then when it came to the actual real world, like money decisions, that's where one of them was a little bit more timid. Yeah. But it's like I was only able to get to that point because of their support.
Yeah. Last one. I was taught that in a hetero marriage, the man is the breadwinner.
False. Yeah, false.
False for me, too.
False.
Look at us.
I know.
Look at our little feminist, like, upbringing.
I love
the
it.
one way.
Yes. The one.
The one feminist teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just didn't grow up. My mom is just very, and my mother's upbringing was that way. Like, my grandfather was the breadwinner. My mom's mom, she wasn't stay at home, but she was a teacher and then also did all of the housework and all of that stuff. So she was a busy lady, had her career, but also was like, you know, a great homemaker, like could cook her behind her ass. I'm not talking about my grandma's ass like that.
That's respectful.
Yeah. She could like cook her behind off.
Grandma Fred's in here being like, what'd you say?
My what?
Oh my God.
But yeah, and my mom, you know, waited very, like, you know, later on to get married, later on to have kids. She's very much a, you know, supporter of living your life and sort of just doing whatever feels right. And I even as a kid didn't understand it. Like, I almost would challenge her sometimes. Like, I'd be like, why is she didn't want kids? Like, her like close friends. I'd be like, she didn't want to have babies? Like, why is she single? This doesn't, why? Like, I was just, like, confused by it sometimes. Yeah. And my mom was like, she's doing her thing.
I love Terry. Leave her alone.
No,
Terry's
really.
like, be quiet.
Pop my head.
You're like, but mom, it's just a societal pressure that we're all placed upon women.
No, truly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my dad was very domestic. And then I also
that.
grew up with, like, watching The Growing Pains a lot. Do you ever watch that show?
Yes.
When Alan Thicke was the stay-at-home dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the vibe.
Yeah, that was the vibe.
I didn't watch it. I knew of him.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the show.
Fun fact, when I first came out to LA, I had, like, some Instagram followers from Harry Potter Musical. And when I would go out on dates, like, from OkCupid, they'd ask me, like, who are you, like, on Instagram? And I would lie and say I was the baby on Growing Pains. And they would
So random, but also very believable.
They would always buy it.
Oh, that's the perfect lie.
It is.
Kids don't lie, but if you do lie, make it perfect.
Yeah, make it perfect. Make it quotable. Anyway.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. I'm proud of you.
Right.
In fact, that's when I'm going to report my income to the government, to Uncle Scam. I was the baby on Growing Pains, so
So give me a
collecting.
baby extension.
Give me one. But yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we're all generally like sort of on the same page with what we were taught about adulthood growing up. I do have a sneaking suspicion though that if there was someone from Gen Z here with us taking this like poll, that they would have very different answers, but I really don't know.
I don't know either. I have a theory about Gen Z because they were raised during the worst part of television history. Like, they were coming into like critical learning skills, puberty during like The Biggest Loser era, and like you know, so they were exposed to all of these horrible reality TV shows and how they treated women, blah blah blah. And I think that's a little bit why, in general, Gen Z has this dark humor and it's kind of nihilistic because it's like what they probably saw and were exposed to a lot of mistreatment and a lot of, you know, microaggressions from a very young age and had to become, and then went on Tumblr and blogged about it. You know, that's my theory.
Yeah, because it's like we also grew up with The Swan. Did you guys watch The Swan?
The Swan. Do you remember that show?
I remember the title of it, but I don't think I ever watched it, but I know what it is.
It would basically,
I remember it being...
They turn people into a hot. They would take them.
Turn people into hot.
Turn people into hot through like extensive plastic surgery all at once. Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what the show was.
And then when they would do a beauty pageant.
Yep.
And it was called the Swan because
Swan.
they would go from an ugly duckling to a swan.
They're going to take you from an
Terrible.
uggo to a hot.
Yeah.
and then
That was the
and
show.
then have you compete.
Yeah.
And then have you compete.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a reveal.
Yeah.
I don't remember if there was like a winner or anything like that, but there was a beauty pageant. The Swan Beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine being
Anyways.
like 5 and watching your parents watch that and be like, this is fucked up and I don't know why. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like Gen Z had more outlets for it, like you were saying with like Tumblr and stuff,
Right.
where we were just like on AIM and like
Mugglenet.com.
and so then we were just like absorbing it and then putting it back out into the world for Gen Z to then like still see.
Yeah.
And then we had to like grow up and realize all that was wrong when we were like a lot older.
Right.
And then they had to come to terms with it a lot younger.
Earlier. Yeah.
And so they're just,
Because
their brains just had to be so different. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, we were basically oblivious almost to like how problematic it was.
Yes.
But them being so in tune to how it is, and then it's
Yes.
still being thrown in their face is like
Yes.
definitely impactful in a different kind of way.
Yes. I was oblivious till I was like, I don't know, like 24. I like didn't even know the word feminism until I was 24.
I mean, even America's Next Top Model, we know.
yes.
And that was my favorite
And
show.
See, I mean,
Me too.
Same,
Loved
and I was
it.
just watching it like, she
Yeah.
gonna cut that hair. She gonna fill in that gap.
Yes. Yes,
And
the
then
gap.
and it's like, and then now I'm like, oh my,
Yep. How dare she put her foot in a picture? How dare? Be like, she's a model?
Oh, God.
we were
that
almost
was the
brainwashed.
worst.
I'm like, were we
Yeah.
brainwashed?
Yes.
Yes. No, actually,
Yes.
yeah. We were brainwashed.
Yeah. Anyways, now that we're like, oh my God, did we grow up in cults? Reality cults?
Well, instead of just like inferring how Gen Z feels, maybe we should ask someone from that generation.
Let's
But
do it.
who?
We'll find out after the break. Yay, and we are back.
Hi.
We're back. We have a special
We have
guest.
such a special. We have such a special guest. Welcome, cousin Megan.
Cousin Megan, my real life cousin, my baby cousin, my little prima.
Wow. Wow. And what year were you born?
I was born in 2001.
So you are a Gen Z.
Yes.
Wow. Certifiable, y'all.
We love it.
Wow, I didn't know it was the 2000s. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So 2000, oh my God, let's take us back. 2001. It was 9/11 that year.
Yes.
You were a baby when that happened.
Yep.
I was in the 6th grade.
Same.
I was loving Ja Rule and Ashanti.
Yeah, yeah. I was in 5th grade.
I was in 7th. Very into John Mayer. Had braces.
What a time.
What a time.
What
Anyway.
a time. So, cousin Megan, can you please tell us a little bit about where you are in this stage of life?
Yeah. I'm 20 right now. I'm a junior in college. I'm in San Francisco, and that's where I'm studying. Yeah.
Do you have any roommates? Like, what's your living situation?
Yeah, I'm living with like my best friend for right now. It's just the two of us. During the pandemic, we were actually like in lockdown. We were in an apartment with like 5 other people, so 6 of us total. Yeah, technically 5 people on the lease, but
Good
it was, like,
God.
yeah.
You're sharing rooms?
It was 2 to a room. So
Okay.
yeah,
And are you on campus or off campus?
I'm
housing?
off campus
Okay.
right now. Yeah,
Got it.
Oh my God. So how much is your rent?
It's a lot. It's like for me, it's $12.60. Yeah.
You should not be paying that much money.
No,
Is it a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom?
it's a 2-bedroom, and then it's me and her split.
Wow.
Okay.
In college, I paid $240 for rent.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, but still.
Yeah, I've talked to my sibling about it too, because my sibling went to school in Portland, and so like the property value there is like way less. Like
Right.
it's outrageous in SF. So it's kind of it's
I think
It's a
I was
challenge.
paying, so I moved off campus junior year into a house with a friend. I think that we were paying like $800, $900 each.
And that's in D.C.
And that's in D.C., yeah. And that was in 2000. 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, my first off-campus apartment in Orange County, it was a 1-bedroom, and I think the rent was like $950, and I shared a room with my best friend. So we
Julie?
paid with Julie.
Wow.
Shout out to Julie. But yeah, so whatever that comes out to.
Yeah.
So right then and there, you have a completely different relationship with money because you, like, I mean, $240 versus, $1,200 a month. That it's just completely different. Like you can make chump change if your rent is $240 and then just chill the rest of the time or be a student or pursue something else. But when you're on the hook for $1,200 a month, good God.
That's it just feels like a very expensive commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you work or are you strictly studying?
I'm strictly studying right now, but I'm trying to get like a part-time student job.
Yeah.
But yeah, just studying. I was working at the beginning of last semester, but it was just like, fortunately, like I was able to just, I don't know, the adjustment socially back on, like from online, and then plus like the academic, and then like work. It was, I had to cut back on things.
So yeah, you talk to us about the adjustment of going from remote learning to back, because you're back in person.
Yeah. It's like hybrid.
Hybrid.
But yeah.
But do you still pay the same amount?
Yep. My school has been raising tuitions like since the pandemic.
Wait, excuse me?
A full scam.
Yeah.
A whole
100%. There's a lot going on with the administration.
Are the students outraged? Like,
Yeah.
how do we move forward from this? What can we do to help?
Well,
I mean, because also a majority of the professors are part-time faculty, and they're getting budget cuts, and they're also like they don't have proper health care with their with what's going on, and so like with the raise of tuition, there's also being raises in like the highest administrative roles that are getting raises, but then the like part-time faculty is struggling. So like there's been rallies and like they've been trying to set up meetings with.
wow. So your school is just like this tiny little bubble of like capitalism at large.
100%.
It's like, here's what happens like on a grand scale, and then it's just like within your college. Wow.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm so taken aback.
I wouldn't pay it. No. Okay, I'm sorry. If in LA, for an example, if you pay full rent and something happens to your living situation, like, construction or like termites or whatever, and you have to move, you get reimbursed the amount of days that you were out of your apartment. I feel like that same kind of logic should be applied to schooling, no?
It really should, to be honest.
Right? Because remote learning is not the same as in-person learning.
Yeah.
We can all agree across party lines that it's not.
Yeah.
So therefore, we need to get 50% off. These classes should be on bargain bin discounts. Also, where is that money going? Other than
I would like to know.
She said, I would like to know.
I hate that.
Megan has questions.
I hate that.
I know.
You've kind of gotten an idea of what we were taught about just like what adulthood means and what are the markers of adulthood. But is it different for you? Like, what are your markers of adulthood?
I feel like it's honestly not that different in terms of, I don't know, I was always raised that like family is like the main thing, and that schooling, like education's like the way out kind of, so like sticking to that. And I've always been on like financial aid at whatever institutions I've been going to, so like school has honestly always been like a job for me, low-key, but like as I feel like for a lot of people it is, but yeah,
It feels like a means to an end.
Yeah.
And then the end is like financial freedom in adulthood.
yeah.
But are you still paying for student loans or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like we're getting there as well as graduating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But therein lies the scam, right? Because education is and should be the road to freedom and adulthood. But as someone who is 12 years into paying student loans, baby girl. It's not freedom.
No.
And was that decision broken out for you, like unpacked for you when you decided what school to go to?
Not really. It was like definitely a deterrent from like certain schools, or like if a school didn't offer enough financial aid, like it wasn't even in the question or like a part of the equation. So, but something that's also interesting for me is like the track that they have you on for financial aid. So they only give you financial aid, and this is like almost every institution, but like they give you financial aid for a certain amount of semesters or quarters. So like they won't pay for interim sessions, or if you need like an extra year, like they won't, or it takes you that much longer to, you know, however much longer, they won't pay for it. So it's like, it's unrealistic because hardly anyone graduates within like the 4 years, you know, like,
especially now that like you can't even go on campus and like learn in person and all that stuff. Like I feel like I would imagine this is like prolonging some people's graduation
For
or like their
sure.
matriculation through college.
Yeah.
and like depending on what you study too, it's like really different. Because for me, I'm humanities studies, so like it's, you know, like cultural studies, I feel like it's still engaging online, but obviously different. But like for STEM majors, I can't even like, or like even labs, like I just,
Right. Oh, right. So they don't, oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. Dev's having a moment.
What?
Yes.
Were you able to get any were you like encouraged to look into grants and scholarships and stuff before college as well?
Yeah, I think like by my high school, they encouraged us to, but they didn't really give us the resources. Like they were like, they're out there, but go find them kind of thing.
Okay, that makes me mad because I feel like that's exactly how it was when we were in high school as well. Like I was like, they just wanted us to like Google it and figure it out, and it's like, as a 17-year-old or as a 16-year-old, like make it just give me the options so that I can like at least have it laid out and know like. That's so upsetting that it's still the same.
I remember when I was in college, there was like a loophole, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but like there was a Girl Scout website that was essentially like a Google search for grants and scholarships that, you know, you could type in your specs essentially, like I'm interested in this kind of minor, I come from this kind of background, blah, blah, blah. And it would kind of lead you to some scholarships and stuff, whatnot. But back then, like the websites were always defunct. The information was always old.
Yeah. So old.
I never even knew about that.
Yeah. Yeah. There
It
was
sounds
like
like
a
it could be
website.
a really good thing.
It's out. Yeah.
If the websites were up and running,
Yeah.
functional. Yeah.
Right. But no one's going to advertise that they're giving out money because that's anti-capitalist, right? Yeah. No one's going to be like, hey, we've got this pool of money for people who are studying STEM.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like they would always tell us like the money is out there. You
Where?
just gotta find it. So that doesn't help the cause here. It just doesn't.
Like, can I have a map?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about, and do you have any colleagues who like work with NFTs or kind of like crypto, or I'll even throw in this other occupation, I think, that I think is very fruitful. And okay, sugar babies.
I was like, is she gonna say OnlyFans? What is she gonna say?
what's he gonna
OnlyFans are sure. I mean, come on. I mean, back when I was in college, I knew of a girl who like was a cam girl and supported herself through college, through camming in the school library. God bless her.
In the school library?
Yeah, because like that was like a thing, a kink. You know,
Part of the bit.
it's a part of the
Wow.
bit. Yeah. So she'd do it in the stacks. And that helped her pay for her college. But I feel like that was like so exceptional back when I was in school.
Yeah.
What about you? Alternative ways of making money?
I feel like I do know a lot of like sugar babies.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I know people who contemplate it too. And like,
I mean, I still come.
Oh my God.
and like either as a joke or like legitimately, like it wouldn't be too hard. Or like, I have one friend who found like a couple that's like a sugar couple
A
kind
sugar
of thing.
couple.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Double the check.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Yes. Yes.
So, and she's like, I don't know, the girl's kind of cute, but so I don't know.
I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Can I just
Yeah.
tell you guys, the first thing that I did when we were officially on lockdown was I went to a sugar baby website and signed up because I was like, I had no idea what to expect. And I had just gone freelance too. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be, let me, right?
Admin frantically typing.
Putting your measurements on there. No.
I was stressed.
I didn't know there were websites for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's shocking to me.
You didn't know
like,
there
of
were
course there
websites?
are.
There's dating apps too.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you get any bites, Fred?
Yeah,
You
what
know?
happened?
I really thought that I was gonna get more bites than I actually did. It was pretty silent. Now that I'm,
Wait, do we have to go back?
It's like, I have sugar baby trauma.
I'm like, what did I not have? I thought, but I think maybe it's like the photo. You just have to have you can't really treat it like a regular dating website. I think that you have to like be more strategic with your profile.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because what I was coming across on there was I think a lot of sugar daddies are like scarred a little bit from like women who say that like, yeah, we're going to hang out and like basically just taking money from them without like the camaraderie or like without the intimate connection. And like a lot of them were looking for like more of an intimate connection. And I was like,
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
um,
They're like, our priorities have also changed
Yes.
with the lockdown. Like, it's time to tighten the reins.
exactly.
What is the
Like,
craziest job you've heard that someone of your age range has to make ends meet? And this is San Francisco, so I feel like there's some creative industries.
Yeah.
Oh, she knows.
Say it.
I mean, it's like jokingly, but like it happens because there's definitely a market for it. But I've had friends who are like, would you be down to like join in like feet pic selling? And I'm like,
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
or like, I don't know. I've definitely heard of people selling like underwear, just like garments.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
being paid to, like wear things that people send them and then like send them back or stuff like
I
that.
love that.
Yeah. A little
Sign
photo
me
shoot
up.
You're like, I
moment.
can wear stuff.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll wear stuff and take a picture. Both coming your way.
Again.
Amazing.
Okay, so Megan,
Yeah.
would you say generally, so from my POV, I feel like Gen Z just has so much more money as a generation than millennials had at that age. So even, YouTubers, streaming, even sugar babies, like, and I feel like a lot of it, I wonder if it's like more of a method of survival or if it's just that like, oh, I need to like get my money up so I can, kind of keep up with the Jones. Is that the term? Yeah. Keep up with the Jones. You know what I mean? Like, do you think Gen Z cares more about money than like we may have? Or is it just kind of like the times and like people just, inflation and everything's expensive. So we all just have to like grind. Is it that kind of thing?
I think it's a little bit of both because I think there's definitely pressure to keep up in terms of like kind of like social media and like keeping up appearances and like exposed to like capitalist agenda like way earlier on. So like we already have this idea that like that's how we're gonna be successful or like that's what's gonna like keep us in the like okay zone, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's
Interesting.
both.
Yeah. Because we were doing it not knowing that it was a capitalist agenda.
Yes.
We were just like, yeah, this is what you do. And then your generation is doing it fully knowing like, yeah, we hate it, but we just got to do it. Which is where we are now at 30.
Yeah.
And you're 20. And so you're like, you just kind of, you knew more of what you were getting into, whereas we didn't. And then now
Right.
we're like, fuck taxes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Our relationship to businesses or like I at least for me, like I see how we're just like cogs in the machine. Like we're not like they don't care. And so that's frustrating, but it's also like you have to deal with, like you have to do it. So it's like
literally like what you said. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the society we live in. And if I don't want to end up on the streets, like let me just, do my part and what I'm supposed to do. But at the end of the day, it's fucked up.
Yeah. And then like when you're not working, you kind of feel like you're not participating, or like you're not being like a functional member of society. But it's like, that's bullshit. Because like, no, like no one should have to like contribute to the capitalist agenda, but we do.
I
Love it. Love it so much. Well, this actually brings me to a little rapid fire game that we want to play with you.
Cool.
After the break.
Welcome back, everyone.
feels good to be back.
Feels good. Breathe it in.
We still have Cousin Megan here.
So, Cousin Megan. Megan, let's play a little game with you. So this game is called This or That. And so basically, we're going to throw options your way, and you tell us which one is more important to you in terms of if you had to only choose one to spend your money on. Okay. Which one would it be?
We just want to see where your values are. Yeah. No pressure.
There's no wrong or right answer.
pressure.
A Netflix subscription or meal prep services?
I feel like meal prep services.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell
I'm
me.
shocked.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Throw us a curveball, girl.
Well, I feel like I'm in my brain, I'm like twisting around it, but I feel like because it's more common for like if one person has a Netflix subscription, like you share that with as many people as you can, kind of. And like meal prep, I'm just like, I think in terms of like transitioning from like living with your parents and living on your own, like there's so much time that like goes into having to just like function and like either make food for yourself or like even laundry. Like I can't get quarters in the city, and like I have to like text my landlord and like exchange with her, and it's like, I mean, the amount of times that me and my roommate have had like rotting vegetables in our fridge for like weeks because we just don't either have the time or like the energy. So I think, I don't know, that,
Meal prep service. I love it. Your reasoning is fantastic. My silly ass. Netflix!
Right. Well, what I'm gathering is...
I was like, it's going to be Netflix. It's going to be Netflix.
What I'm gathering here is that Cousin Megan is abreast with how to work the Netflix subscription, right? And then also is putting a value on her time and energy more than her, like, entertainment or legacy value of Netflix. Wow, we're learning so much. All right.
How did you want to just do all of them, or do we want to skip around?
Thrifting or fast fashion?
thrifting.
I mean, that's, yes.
In terms of like fast fashion, it sucks because like it sucks, but it's also like the cheapest option.
Right.
So
And I feel like the ones that are thrown in your face the most on the internet.
like Shein and like all that stuff. Thrifting, I mean, it's like better for the environment. It's also like, it's cool. It's like fun, like depending on where you are. And also, but I think that there was like a whole shift of like, oh, it's cool to thrift now. Whereas like for a while, it's like, but that's not like a trend. Like people thrift out of necessity. Like it's like, I don't know. So, but it's like, mix of both. But definitely thrifting. Like if I had the option. But yeah.
Okay, next one. Marriage or mortgage?
Mortgage.
Ooh.
Mortgage.
Quick answer.
Didn't even breathe.
Yeah.
Didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't twitch, none
The
of
answer
it.
is clear. Mortgage.
Good for you,
I like
girl.
how you think.
Yeah, we're on board. Sephora or drugstore makeup
Or skincare.
/ skincare.
I mean skincare, I feel like, but I would say, like, drugstore makeup, because, like, you can find the same things, pretty much. Like, there's maybe some items that are, like, oh, like, my eyeliner, like, I would like to have, like, a certain whatever. But even that, like, there's always dupes for things, and, like, I don't know. I feel like also with, like, TikTok and, like, like, newer social media trends, like, there's always people, like, putting out things that are, like, oh, like, here's... You use this alternative instead. But I also, like, hair products, too, is, like,
Are you more particular with, like, your hair products?
Yeah.
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 So you are, like, a Ulta girl when it comes to hair?
Yeah, or Target.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Same.
Nice.
Same.
And now Ultas are often in Target.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Target has become a mall.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Starbucks, Ulta.
No, I'm not mad.
Auntie Anne's is going to be there soon, which I would love.
Okay. 3 local road trips a year or 1 big international trip a year.
I think the international trip, because I feel like you get more out of, like, visiting somewhere that's, like, completely different. Or maybe it's not completely different, but, like, that might not be your expectation. I don't know. I think you learn more.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I love that. So a monthly gym membership or 4 concerts a year. Like
4 concerts a year.
100%.
Quick.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, concert tickets are not cheap
No.
anymore.
No, they're not.
They're so...
They're expensive.
Did you guys watch that John Oliver episode?
No.
I mean, this is coming out so it's going to be a couple weeks back. But yeah, he's talking about, like, Ticketmaster has a chokehold on the industry, making it so expensive to see.
Yeah.
Like, Adele tickets, to get second row Adele tickets, $2,200. That's rent. That's rent.
Yeah.
Who can do that?
And that's not even a resale price.
yeah.
The resellers are
Insane.
Don't even get me started.
Well, here's a fun fact. It's mostly the artists themselves going on and like they buy a chunk of the tickets and then they resell it.
I did not know that.
Because that's how the system works, so they're just getting in on it.
It's all a scam.
It's all a scam.
Are we gonna be able to do anything anymore?
No.
If we're talking about after high school, do you go straight to college or do you take a gap year?
I mean, I went straight to college. My sibling took a gap year. I was, like, under the impression that you went straight to college, that was just, like, the track of it. But that's just not a reality. And I also being an SF and, like, living like an adult without, like, you know, the structure of school.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a completely different, like, process, I feel like. But it's so valuable that, like, I didn't think about that necessarily. That now I'm seeing once I'm in college and I'm like, oh, great. Like, like, this is so fun. Like, but yeah.
Oh, so gap year.
Yeah. I think if I could redo it, I don't know if I think maybe I would take a gap year.
Yeah, or even consider it more.
Yeah, consider it more.
Yeah.
And, like, think about what I could be doing.
Savings account or checkings account?
Savings account.
Oh, yeah, you gotta save up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I just, like, it's always, like, I'm always stressed about, like, you know, just have, like, if something were to happen, like, how long would I be able to sustain myself?
Wow, so you're already thinking about that.
Yeah.
I don't think I started thinking about that till I was like 25.
Yeah, me neither. Like,
right.
I was just like, I guess I'll just go home to my parents. Like, it's not like, if something happens. But, like, no, you're thinking about it in a way more thoughtful, like, independent way. Because it's like, who actually wants to go back home to their parents? I mean, let's be honest here.
No.
You know what I mean? After having lived away from home.
Yeah.
Love you, mom and
I
dad,
think
but no.
most of the time, like, if you had an option of the two, you would choose to, like, continue to live on your own, you know? So
Absolutely.
I have a follow-up question to that. Are they advertising credit cards on your college campus? Have you been hawked a credit card? Do you have a credit card as a 21-year-old?
I don't.
Okay.
I should, I feel like, but I don't really know. But, like, every time I think about it, I'm like, well, I should probably, like, look into it. But then I'm like, no. But there's definitely, like, booths on campus where they've been like, sign up for this credit card and, like, you you know, they advertise it. But, and like, I have a friend who recently just got a credit card, and he was like, so I'm like paying for all your meals now, and like all this stuff. I'm like, well, like, I don't know.
You're like, it's still real money.
Yeah. So, but I think it's like the security of like, even if it's not your money, it's like the security of seeing that money and being like, oh, like I'm good now, like I'm stable. But I don't know, it's.
Do you feel like you've been taught in school at all, or even just in your upbringing, of like how money works, or like how to use a credit card, or how any of that is supposed to work?
No.
Yeah. So some things never change.
Wow.
Because neither were we.
Yeah.
My mom tried a lot.
Yeah.
And that's like her thing. Like, she's always like, if I were to leave you guys with anything, it would be how to like spend your money, or like how to take care of your money. But mainly because she didn't know, and like she grew up always like really insecure about money. And even though that's kind of like what she says, there's very little action of like actually teaching us, because it's new to her. Like, she you know, no one taught her, and so she had to learn on her own, and, and stuff like that. But yeah, my mom was always the more like keeping money tight, like very aware of it, and my dad was like, we'll be fine, like, don't worry.
And you feel like you've taken more after your mom in terms of how you think about money?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't entirely know. I feel like I don't even really know how my dad really views money, if that makes sense. Because for him, it's always been like for a while at my high school, it was up in the air of whether or not I was going to be able to return, because it was just really expensive, even with financial aid. But my dad always was like, don't worry about that. Like, we'll cut back what we need to cut back so that you can go to school. And also, so that was his main thing.
Yeah. I feel like my parents had a very similar dynamic.
Same.
Very similar.
Yeah.
I wonder, is it like...
Is it a woman-man thing?
Yeah. But when I'm like... Then there's all these just rich dudes that... that just...
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm wondering. I mean,
I think maybe it's just more aspirational for men. Like, they're taught that success is like being a rich guy who just handles stuff and is like, yeah, do what you want. We can afford this, and this. But then it's like, even if they don't have that,
they still have that.
They're
same...
still
Right.
Their pressure is to still act like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have women who've been burned.
Who
are like, keep your money.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Right. No, not bird face.
No, bird face. I hate it. It's right next to me. It's pointy.
You can't
Such a pointy face.
follow up philosophical insight with bird face. New rule.
That's the only way to follow it up.
Cousin Megan gets it.
Megan.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for coming and hanging and chatting with us about money and finances. It probably sounded boring, but hopefully it wasn't.
And if you learn anything new about money, come back on the pod.
Please.
And tell us about it.
Tell us. If you want to learn anything, let us know and we'll make an episode just for you.
Megan, where can people find you? Do you have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok? How you feeling?
I mean, I have an Instagram. I don't really know my handle.
Oh, that's
to be
okay.
honest.
I love this. I love this.
I'm just Megan Escobar. I don't know.
Megan. She said she's just her. So find her. Find her out. in the
She's
streets.
making herself wanted. Wow, she really knows the capitalist
Yes.
system. Put out a demand, right? Well done. Awesome.
Good. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies. So honestly, after talking to cousin Megan, I thought I was gonna feel super disconnected and like, wow, things have changed so much. But I actually feel pretty seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about y'all?
I feel the same.
Yeah.
Some things just stay the same.
Yeah,
They do.
They just know more. Like
They
you
just know more, and I want to help them.
said. Yeah.
Truly, I'm in my 30s now, so that maternal instinct is strong. You know,
Yeah.
like I want to march myself down to Megan's college
Oh,
and be
me
like,
too.
she's not paying this bill.
Yes.
She's not. You know,
Yes.
but yeah, I do feel seen.
Yeah.
But also like sad that nothing has changed.
I know.
Nothing. Like there's no personal finance class in
Yeah.
high school that needs to be taken, or like. Instead of English 101 in college, personal finance 101.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important, and I'm almost like it is just a part of the system to like catch us up later.
Yeah.
And make us, spend more money. The less we know, the more, money they can get out of us. So
Joke's on them because we now have a money pod.
look at the egg on their face. Anyway, this was so much fun. Thank you for bringing cousin Megan to us. She was a gem. She is a gem.
She's the best.
We love her.
Yeah.
And tune in next week, you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
See you soon.
Bye.